Eric from Portland, and I am a noob, and I wanted to show you my setup because it is a work in progress. I have some parts together, some parts on order, and I thought I'd just walk you through it because it's such a learning process. So if you have any suggestions on improving the setup, let me know. First of all, I'm using a blue tarp, and I'm doing that because I had it and it was cheap, and I have a Superfly from Warbonnet on order. One thing I did recently order though was this Zingit line and these tarp flies from Dutch. I think it's dutchwear.com. And I ordered two 25-foot pieces of Zingit. They came in one package, or one length at 50 feet, and I cut it at 30 feet, which is good, because with this setup in this big Oregon forest, this is how much extra I had with the 30-foot ridge line. So that was nice. Dutch threw in a couple pieces of this red material, and here's this little Dutch hook also, which is very slick. So I've got a very cheap tarp and a very high-end line. These are 8-foot tree straps. I made the toggle out of a ski pole, a child's ski pole, and it seems to work well. This is the head end of my whoopee sling, and it's attached. I have a structural ridge line here with a Dutch beaner, and this is the first night I spent with the structural ridge line. It's not the first night, second night I think, but I was using 550 cord and it just did not work as well. This is a new down bag and a new down DIY underquilt, which I bought two sleeping bags off of Craigslist for $120, cut one of them down and used one as the overquilt. It was about 50 degrees last night, totally warm. They're old bags, but they still have about 2 inches of loft, so I figured that was good to maybe 40 degrees. So there's that one. That's a Eno, by the way. The 8-foot tree straps would fit around the small tree, but would not fit around this guy right here. When I set it up, I did look up and check for Widowmakers, but I really didn't see it. So another thing, here's a secondary tarp. I'm going to use this for my temporary tarp until my... Hey, buddy.
Hi. You said trip flyers.
I did put up trip lines all over the place. I'm going to use this as my main tarp until the Superfly comes. Because what happened here is this blue tarp doesn't have a center grommet. So I have about 2.5 to 3 feet right here, and when it was staked out at this angle, I got dripped on. It looked like it was enough room, but when I put my big old body in here, it dripped on this side of my hammock all night. It wasn't a deluge, but it definitely got me wet, and I didn't like that. So if you're going to use one of those 5x7 emergency blankets as a tarp, I've heard some people wanted to do that. You're going to have to tie it down really tight if you're going to stay dry, because I definitely did not stay dry. And you can see that my tarp is below my hammock. So that's the Eno, and here's the other one. This is the Ticket to the Moon that I won at the won raffle at the first annual Oregon Hang. 550 paracord line for the structural ridge line. I set it up for my nephew who slept in it, and I figure for a 70-pound kid this 550 is fine. This is the first underquilt that I made. I made it out of a 20-degree bag that I bought for $29 at Big 5. Cut it down, and it works great, but it is so big when it's compressed that with a synthetic North Face Cat's Meow bag, it took up more than 3/4 of my 65-liter REI Flash backpack. So I really had very, very little room, and it was all insulation. That's why I went over to the down, and I haven't packed that up yet, but I will planning to do a video on that as well. So, not a great video, not great great pictures, but hopefully somebody learned something, and if you have any advice, please pass it on.